Hi everybody, Douglas Scott McCarron. Hey look, I got a haircut. I just wanted to share with you where I'm going with my videos and what my plans are. I'm going to be covering music, covering some of how I moved from being an extremely dark, vindictive person to a very kind and wonderful, loving person. I hope that's okay with y'all. I want to share my website, what's on it, a few other websites that I found very valuable and useful. So, if you don't mind, then I'll also tell you some of the stuff I want to be doing in the future. So, to start off, my website. It's called douglasmccarron.com, DSMCCARRON. It's got links to my 50 Steps to Guitar Greatness, which I go over talking about in a lot of my videos here about how to become a really good guitar player. There's my web series, A Bit Twisted, that's on several online streaming services. There's also the merch store in there, set up at Cafe Press. Here are some of the images. It's got the A Bit Twisted image on a wide variety of things. Here's some of them. Also, I have a brief history of Douglas, that's me. Not trying to be narcissistic, but if you're interested in knowing about me, you're invited. Have a nice trip around the website. Links to these are down below. There's the DS McCarron and the 50 Steps link. There's also interviews I've conducted of other people and interviews that have been conducted of me in the past. That's all linked down at the website. There's also a couple of websites I'd like to recommend. One's called Recovery 2.0 or R2O. It's based on recovering from addiction. A lot of people think addiction is drugs or alcohol or food. And those are there, but underneath them all, there's a feeling of there's something wrong, which I think many of us have. And that I think it's just valuable because I think the more people that can recover from their feeling that there's something wrong and becoming great with themselves and love themselves and be calm and peaceful, the better world we'll live in. Also, I have a coach that I work with. It's called healingmatrix.net. Coach is Patience Ulstad. She's helped me with losing 80 pounds, getting my sleep cycle together, getting inside and looking at things that upset me. So those are the recommendations. I also have, if you want to connect with me or you want to contribute to the site for, helping me with the expenses of running it, there's a Patreon link. There's a Buy Me a Coffee or book link. There's also PayPal. Those are all down below. So I appreciate that if you'd be open to doing it. And as always, like and subscribe, as they say. Also, here's some of the ideas I have for the future. I want to do one that calling it Discovery, Recovery, Transformation. It'll be 3 sets of episodes. There's the discovery part of what's going on. Why am I feeling there's something wrong? There's recovery, where after you've discovered it all, it's like discover means to take stuff off, to uncover things. Recovery is to recover it. It's like the roots of a tree. You discover the roots of the tree to see why the tree puts out such fruits and the fruits of your life. And then recovery is where you put the dirt back on. And then there's also the transformation, where you may or may not walk away from the tree. A lot of videos are going to be coming up about my 50 steps to guitar greatness. I'll be having links to that where one of the things, if you're contribute to Patreon, you've got not only the 50 steps teaching method that's available, but I'll also give lessons to those people that subscribe and support me on Patreon on becoming a really good guitar player. Why do I think I can do that? I'm almost 70 and I started when I was 14. And even though I'm becoming arthritic, I know a lot. I may not wow you with all my excellence, but I know a lot in my head that I would like to pass on, make it easier for you to learn. I'm going to talk a lot about how my life changed. Again, moving from dark, vindictive self-loathing to calm, quiet, and self-loving is quite a bit in one life. Especially, I've discovered there's also a spiritual connection which is deeper than this life, but that's what I think. I want to talk about also entertainers. There's a tendency to worship entertainers and want to be famous and stand out from the crowd. But a lot of them also seem to be kind of dark and mean, a lot of alcoholism and anger. And part of the problem with standing out separate from the crowd is you're separate from everyone else. So I'm going to talk about that. This one's going to be kind of a long one to set up. There's a song called Child in Time by Deep Purple. And there's a lot of reactions to it. I don't know if you've seen it, but Ian Gillan, who's the lead singer, hits A above A5, which, for those of you who don't know, that's very far to the right and high on the piano. And his very clean vocals, and a lot of people just get amazed by him. But many people seem to fail to notice what's going on with the band, why it makes it so strong. It's not just his voice, as amazing it is, it's the whole band. I also want to talk about, for some reason, I keep having Scientology show up on my YouTube feed. And there's people who support it and people who are against it, and there's like this inter-scene warfare going on, and I'm kind of amazed by just how much impact it has for people positive and negative. And there's some things they talk about that I actually recognize in myself, but I don't particularly consider myself a Scientologist. It's just interesting to have it show up. I remember when it was coming big when I was a kid, so I've always been kind of aware of it, but not trying to really convince anybody. I think it's just like the mental state and the stories people have in their heads of what's going on, which again feeds back to why do people feel dark and how they feel about themselves. Then I have one called Hegelian dialectics, which may sound really boring, but Hegel came up with this philosophy that really didn't start with him. It actually goes way back, but it's this way of, it's like coming out, it's this whole idea of there's an intellectual ideal and you arrive at the truth by putting things in opposition and working your way in, but it influenced Marx, it influenced Nazi Germany, it influenced democracy, it influences this whole idea a lot of people have that they shouldn't let their feelings overwhelm them, but they need to be kind of this cold, aloof standoff, looking at what's going on. And it's had positive and very negative effects, I think, in the world. That's not limited to the world. I mean, the West isn't the only place that has these separated things, dualistic kind of like concepts, but it's the one I grew up in, so I'm going to talk about it. I'm sure that people have an opinion on it will counter what I say, but I just want to talk about it. I'm also hearing a lot of people that are like upset that in Congress and the people vote for him, that there's the uniparty and the people need to rise up against it. And my reading of the Constitution, there's supposed to be a uniparty. Parties aren't supposed to be in opposition. They're supposed to be working together. Now, the whole idea is to get the whole breadth of opinions, from very intense conservatives to very radical leftists, and get them all together in a room and argue and fight and come to the thing that would be really good for the country. Tendency, though, is to be, I'm right, you're wrong, screw you. If you don't do it the way I want to, I'm going to throw you out, which is somewhat connected to the whole Hegelian dialectic. And then also I want to talk about music lessons as both, how songs are structured, like in Child in Time, and a lot of the 50 Steps of Guitar Greatness. And also want to talk about how music fits in with transformation. Transformation, just to get it to you, means to go from one form to another form. So like, if I'm very angry and driven by emotions, but then I am able to finally calm down and look at those emotions and not have them affect me anymore, but I still have the central core beliefs, have I really transformed, or am I just the same form in a different look? So transformation is to go from one form to another. And then let's see, what else do I want to do? I'll probably talk some about the war in Ukraine. I'm a history major. I have a history degree. I have a religion minor. So I have a lot of interest in history, music, religion. So it's interesting talking to me, because on one minute I've been talking about oneness and the unity of all things, and a minute later I'll be talking about warfare and people getting blown up. I was a soldier. I'm not particularly in favor of going out and blowing people up, but it is something I'm aware of. But the next thing I want to work on is the trilogy of discovery, recovery, and transformation. So that's where I'm going. I invite you to come see me at dsmccarron.com. If you're open to putting this link out to your friends and sharing it around, I'd appreciate it. If you're on YouTube or any site that allows you to support it or give a thumbs up, or you can become a follower, I'd appreciate it if you do that. And again, I'm 70 years old. Money's getting harder to come by, so if you're open to donating some money at Patreon or PayPal, or buy me a book, or if you would like to buy some chapters of 50 Steps to Guitar Greatness, I'd appreciate it. Check it out at dsmccarron.com. And I thank you, and until next time,